welcome back to Catholic Reboot. This is the final episode on the church councils, so this should be part 3. We will try to finish it through this episode, which would make it the final. Okay, so we're starting with the 13th council, which is Lyons. It was, it's actually considered Lyons I. It opened in 1245. We had Pope Innocent the Fourth and Emperor Frederick II. The main decisions here were the excommunicated and deposed Frederick II for heresies and crimes against the church. So this was a very specific council. It had one purpose in mind, and that was the purpose. The 14th council, which was Lyons II, which was opened in 1274, Pope Gregory X and Emperor Rudolph I. The decision affected only the temporary union of the Eastern churches with the Roman Church, and then it provided regulations for church conclaves. The 15th council was Council of Vienna in 1311. I'm sorry, Vienna in 1311. It was Pope Clement V and Emperor Henry VII. The decisions were to suppress the Knights Templar, issued decrees on the reforms of morals as well. We all know the Knights Templar, the issue behind that. Many think that was the beginning of the Freemason movement once they were silenced. Council number 16 was Constance. It was opened in 1414 under Pope Gregory XII. The emperor at that time was Sigismund. The decisions in this council were to end the Great Schism, which involved 3 rival claimants to the papacy, oppose the teachings of John Wycliffe, who taught sola scriptura, which denied the authority of the Pope and the bishops, denied the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist, and wrote against penance and indulgences. Condemned as a heretic was John Huss, who denied papal authority and taught wrongly about the nature of the church, and who was burned at the stake in 1415. His followers in 1457 established what was known as the Moravian Church, which was the first independent Protestant church. Next council was the 17th Council of Florence. It was opened in 1438 and closed in 1443. Pope Eugene IV opened the council, Emperor Albert II, and Emperor Frederick III. The decisions were to reaffirm papal primacy against claims of conciliarists that an ecumenical council is superior to a pope. Approved reunion with several Eastern churches, but the reunion was only temporary. The next council was the 18th Council. This was Lateran V, which opened in 1512 and closed in 1517. Pope Julius II and Pope Leo X were involved in this council. Emperor Maximilian I was reigning at the time. The decision opposed the erroneous teaching about the soul. It reaffirmed the doctrines of indulgences, restated the relationship between popes and ecumenical councils on the eve of the Protestant Reformation, failed to inaugurate an authentic and thoroughgoing reform of the church, which they claim inadvertently helped Protestantism increase. The 19th council is probably one of the greatest councils, which is the Council of Trent. And you can see it went through 3 opening and closings. The first one was 1545, that closed in 1549. Then it reopened in 1551 and closed in 1552. Then it opened in 1562 and closed in 1563. So you could imagine there's quite a few popes and emperors. So Popes Paul III, Pope Julius III, and Pope Pius IV. The emperors were Charles V and Ferdinand I. The main decisions were to affirm Catholic doctrines against the errors of the Protestant reformers. It reaffirmed teachings on the role of the Bible and tradition, grace, sin, justification by faith, but not by faith alone. The Mass is the real sacrifice. Purgatory, indulgences, jurisdiction of the Pope. It initiated the Counter-Reformation, reformed the clergy and morals, promoted religious instruction, ordered the establishment of seminaries for the future training of priests. So, Council of Trent, if you had to say what was one of the greatest influence, it would have been Martin Luther's schism, which was a widespread schism in the church. And so Catholic Church had to basically get things under control and start to provide specific guidance to the faithful. And that's why you'll see a heavy emphasis on the Mass under Council of Trent and faith and morals. Okay, the 20th Council was Vatican I. It opened in 1869 and closed in 1870. It was Pope Pius IX. You'll notice at this point we no longer make reference to a king. The church at that point, because it was a significant period of change from the Council of Trent. So Council of Trent closed in 1563, and then you're looking at 1869. So you have 300 years, and by that time the church just no longer was being influenced by kings or rulers of countries. Under Vatican I, the decision defined papal infallibility and primacy. It condemned errors regarding the relationship between faith and reason. The council was cut short by a war. Its works were taken up by Vatican II. The final council of the church that we know of is Vatican II. It was the 21st council of the church. It opened in 1962 and closed in 1965. 2 popes were involved with Vatican II, Pope John the 23rd, and then Pope Paul VI. Pope John the 23rd was somewhat old when he actually became pope after the death of Pius XII. The decisions of Vatican II were they issued pastoral documents on the renewal and reform of the church, intending to make the church more effective in dealing with the contemporary world. And I'll leave my commentary out of it. So those are the 21 ecumenical councils of the Catholic Church. It's good for you to know why they were called, what they were trying to accomplish, and how they affected the church as of today. So some say we're way overdue for another council. I think it should be called the Council of Rome, right? To clean up what has been happening to the Catholic Church since Vatican II. I think the experiment is over, but I'll leave the editorial out of this last part. And thank you very much, and I'll see you in future episodes.